What's your name?
Dana Lassiter II, aka D.
How old are you?
29.
What are you doing nowadays?
Work for the state.
This whole concept is talking to a younger or older version of yourself. Which one you gonna talk to?
I talk to a mixture of both.
What are you saying to the mixture of both of D?
The younger me basically stop trying to prove yourself to yourself. The older me, walk in who you are. All right. See, the younger me, basically, how can I put it? I was very aggressive when it came down to playing football. And a lot of people thought that's who I was as a person. So basically, I had to, not gonna say walk in that, but basically that's who I was. But at the same time, I wasn't trying to prove myself to anybody. I was just trying to prove myself to myself. Basically, I was my biggest critic. It came down to football, school, relationships, extra activities, and kind of like the sermon I watched with Michael Todd called Fear of Missing Out. Basically, it was like, in my mind, I was fearing I was missing out on certain things that other people had the opportunity to do. But in reality, I wasn't missing out because I was in the midst of it. From going to Orangeburg, South Carolina, to go to South Carolina State to meet my wife, to taking a semester off, to ended up going to Butler Community College in Kansas, playing ball, basically just stepping out on faith. And that was me starting to see, all right, D, you can do it if you just walk by faith, not by sight. And at the same time, it's still trying to prove myself. And at the same time, as a younger person, I was extremely angry. And when I say angry, I'm talking about at everything. From like family to school, football. It was more like, why? Well, it was never like angry to the point where it's like, I'm always just trying to be violent, but football was my outlet. So then once my senior year ended, I was like, all right, what am I gonna do? You know, as a younger person, you have certain people that come in your life and they'll talk down on you. Like I had one coach, I'm not gonna say no names. He told me to stay away from this basketball player because I'm a bad influence. And I was a sophomore and the player was a junior. And I looked at him, I was like, okay. So ever since then, my whole aspect was like, I don't care what anybody else thinks, anybody else says. And even transitioning into college, I had certain coaches, say no names, that was not a man of his word. And so I basically went through that phase, I say from like 15 to about 25. It was just people not being a man of their word, people not being of their word, period. So it was like, I wouldn't open up to people, wouldn't speak to people because I didn't trust people. I mean, sometimes family is my biggest crutch because it came down to faith. That's how my mom and my dad. So it was like, it was certain times like in Kansas, I know for a fact, I wanted to just give up. I remember it was during the spring and something had happened and I was just angry, extremely angry, like to the point where I was shaking. So I remember I called my dad and was like, yo, I'm coming home. He was like, what happened? Told him what happened. I was like, yo, I ain't trying to do this anymore. I'm trying to go home because I want to do something I'm gonna regret. He was like, no, D, finish what you started. And so from that point on, I went on from finishing what I started. So to the older me, it's more like, how can I put it? I'm now learning how to, I've been a man, but I'm learning how to be the man. basically like since I've gotten married, July 7th of this year, to my wife, Shantae Lassiter. You know, it's been a journey. It's not been easy, but like I've told a couple of my homeboys, marriage is not for the weak-minded nor the weak-hearted. So it's like, don't step into that phase of, oh, this is gonna be my wife, and you're not prepared for everything that comes with it. Because the minute you get on one knee and say, will you open up a whole nother door to stuff you didn't know was even possible. Down to wedding planning, where you're gonna stay, how you gonna take care of the bills, living arrangements, all that. And so now it's like I know how to be a boyfriend, I know how to be a fiance, but now I'm learning how to be a husband. And one thing I've learned since growing up in a 2-parent household was that even though my dad wasn't around a lot when I was younger because of his job, I still saw certain things that he did that I would just look up to, like, oh, okay, this is how you do this is how you do that. And then certain things I do in my household, I could see myself kind of turning into my dad with certain things. And I have to check myself. I'm like, you're not your dad, you're yourself. And see, what a lot of people do is they'll go into a relationship, a marriage, and they'll see people that they may have looked up to and end up trying to be that person. But you can't, you have to be yourself. That's one thing I'll say to my older self, is just be yourself. Don't care what other people think. Continue to do what you need to do to get where you need to go. That's a prayer I said back in 2009. After my grandma died, I said that, man, every time I go to the gym, I say it. Do what you gotta do to get where you gotta go. Do what you gotta do to get where you gotta go. And I never forget that. So I'll never forget her funeral. We went to my aunt Gwen's house, and everybody was getting prepared, whatever. And I started to tear up a little bit, but I was like, nah, I'm good, I'm gonna hold it together. So when I came, we all got into the limousines, going to the church. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was blasting Anthony Hamilton's song, Her Heart. Just kept hearing it over and over and over. I was like, I'm good. And then I saw my uncle crying. So I was like, And I saw my cousins crying. So like, And the reason I bring it up is because me and my wife were watching Barbershop 2 the other day. And Ice Cube had stepped in front of, the people that were going to make this vote as far as the community. And he asked, why did Jesus weep? The reason Jesus wept is because the people around him were crying. So he had he was drawn to cry with them as well. So when I saw my uncle and my cousins crying, I just lost it. And we're walking down to go see her body in the church. And I'm just bawling, I'm crying, and I almost wanted to run away. And it was my dad that had held me. And it was like, D, no. And then it's like, as soon as I saw her just laying there in the casket, it's just like a peace and a calm came over me that I never felt before. It was at that moment that I realized my biggest supporters were my mom and my dad. Times I wanted to run away, I didn't, because they were there. Times I was like, man, I want to do this. I was like, I have to, not just for myself, but for my wife, for my kids, for my brother, for my nieces and nephews, for my friends. Because it's like, Royce the 5'9", who's not Royce, or was it Royce? Might have been Royce, that said, check on your strong friend. Because sometimes when you have a strong friend, who does that strong friend have to lean on? And some people may know, some people may not know. So I've had to deal with that. Sometimes like I feel like I've been a strong friend, but sometimes it's hard for that strong friend to open up. And that's one thing my wife has done for me, is as far as like opening up, being more social to a sense. I love to laugh, so I'm continue to laugh. And so basically everything I do it's not for me anymore, it's for my family. And it's like you have to make certain sacrifices for that. And watching my mom sacrifice for me and my brother, watching my dad sacrifice for me and my brother, I've seen things that my brother hasn't seen that I had to deal with as far as how I should move. There's like a lot of things I knew that my parents could not do or were not able to do that I would not ask. And I got to that point where it's like I would just stop asking so we would all be good. So that's where I learned how to not be selfish. So sometimes even when it comes down to treating yourself, sometimes I have a problem with treating myself because it's like, do you deserve it? But at the same time, it's not worth it. Don't do it. Save it. Not saying there's nothing wrong with saving your money, but you need to treat yourself. As far as if it's it could be like a video game, it could be like a trip, it could be going to a game, it could be clothes, it could be something very simple. So that's one thing my wife has taught me, and I love her for it. So that's basically it.